Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Please like and subscribe before we get this thing started. It really helps out the channel. So, today we're going to be talking about how the COVID passports are basically being created by Nazi affiliates. So, let's get straight into it. In 1933, when Hitler rose to power, the Nazi Party went to conduct a national census. Now, this is important because the Nazis wanted to be aware of all the Jews and ethnic groups residing in Germany during the time. The company they enlisted was no other than Dehomag, which was a German subsidiary of IBM. Dehomag eventually became IBM Deutschland. This company was famous for creating the punch card system and later developed into data processing. The new technology was so effective that the United States adopted it for the 1890 census. In 1923, Dehomag was purchased by Computing, Tabulating, and Recording Company, CTR, which later the next year they renamed it IBM, International Business Machines, in 1924. So, just to give you a little look of the system that they were using, these were the punch card systems they were using during the Holocaust, as of here. Now, Dehomag gave the Nazis a way of tracing Jews and dissidents using the powerful automated search tools using the IBM machines. It enabled them to search databases rapidly and effectively, and the methods were used throughout occupied Europe by the Gestapo and others to locate and arrest as victims, contributing to the Holocaust. Now, the owner of IBM is no other than Sir Thomas Watson. See, as you can see, let's get a close-up view of this guy. As you can see, this is Thomas Watson having some sort of meeting with Hitler. Now, he was actively encouraging and financially supporting the Nazis, actually traveling to Germany himself in October of 1933, which the company ramped up its investments in the German subsidiary from 400,000 to 7 million Reichsmarks, about $1 million. So if you equivalent that to 2020, that's about $20 million. For Thomas Watson's delicate work, he received a medal from Hitler, the New Order of Merit of the German Eagle. So you could pull up this article. You guys could look this up on Google yourself. Thomas Watson Nazi. That's all you have to do. Now, with the IBM technology, Nazis could keep track of inmates in concentration camps, pivotal in their goal of cleansing Jews. Now, as of now, hold on, fellas. As of now, Joe Biden isn't planning any sort of national level COVID-19 passport, and he will never have to. In a fascist country, big business usually do the bidding of government, as in the case of Mussolini's Italy and Hitler's Germany. Democratic states, via edicts from the governor, can simply mandate these rulings without consequences from the federal government. The president only needs to use his bully pulpit to guide the liberal New World Order. So I'm going to pull up this article for you guys to check out. As you can see, Designing for Uncertainty, how IBM created a vaccine passport. Now, the most interesting thing about this article, when you scroll all the way down to the last paragraph, let's scroll down. They always leave the meat and potatoes at the end. It says IBM does not have a more generalized health pass similar to Exclusive, which it can white label for other states. So basically, this article is admitting IBM essentially waiting for the federal government or states to make COVID passports a reality. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Are you comfortable with Nazi affiliates creating the COVID passport when these were the same people that created the system to hope the Nazis cleansed the Jews in Europe during World War II? Look at this headline. Digital papers, please. New York becomes the first state to roll out IBM's digital COVID-19 vaccine passport. Now, the only other state that has some sort of COVID passport is Hawaii, I believe. In majority of Republican states, it has been banned as of now. So there's only two states with the vaccine passport. It's New York City, New York State, and Hawaii. So this is spreading all throughout the world. As you can see, Germany starts rolling out a digital EU vaccination pass. So the likelihood of this coming to America, especially if these numbers keep on increasing the way they are, if we're having 100,000 cases contracted every day from the Delta variant, this is most likely, will be coming to America. As you know, Joe Biden has been putting the pressure on states, federal government. As of September 15th, I believe vaccinations will be mandatory in the military. So it's all coming down. So it's up to us to see whether we're going to fight back enough. Do we have the heart like of France? As you can see, in France, they're rebelling against these mandates from the government. So let me get a sneak preview, get a closer view of this. This is in France. Now, there was reported to be at least 300,000 to 400,000 people protesting during this France protest. They have also many other videos you guys could check out. France rebelling against Macron, the Prime Minister of France. As you can see from The Guardian, the France extends COVID health pass after fourth weekend of protests. So let's talk about it. Why is this important? Why is this important, right? This is important because are we going to follow in the footsteps of Hitler's Germany? During 1933, when Hitler became the chancellor, Jews often had to walk around with a yellow star to mock them and to point them out. All the Jews had to wear a yellow star. As you can see in this article, the yellow star, the Jews throughout Nazi-occupied Europe were forced to wear a badge in the form of a yellow star as a means of identification. This was not a new idea since medieval times. Many other societies have forced the Jew citizens to wear badges to identify themselves. The badges were often printed on a coarse yellow cloth and were a garish yellow color. The star, which represented the Star of David, was outlined in thick black lines, and the word Jew was printed to mock Hebrewic type. In Warsaw Ghetto, Jews wore a white armband with a blue Star of David in their left armband. So we already starting to see the treatment of the unvaccinated. If you're unvaxxed, you can't have a job. If you're unvaxxed, you can't travel. If you're unvaxxed, you can't enter a store. If you're unvaxxed, you can't enter a restaurant. If you're unvaxxed, you can't go to see a Jets game. So there's a lot of eerie connections between World War II and what's going on now. This medical dictatorship that's going on. Please let me know what you think in the description, in the comments. We are willing to debate these topics. So before we leave, this is from Greg Reese from Band.video. He does some really good reporting, and I'm just going to play the first 3 minutes of the video to have you guys have an idea what's going on. Because not only is it one company that has connections to Nazis, it's also two companies that have connections to Nazis. And in this video, he's basically gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna let you guys see this for yourselves.
In a recent video, Polly St. George talks us through her recent investigation of the company Entrust, a company who just recently signed a contract with the United Kingdom to provide digital passports for COVID-19 vaccine tracking. What she discovered was that the family who owns Entrust not only has Nazi roots, but they are in fact a very prominent Nazi family. The family in question is the Quandt family. In 1929, Günther Quandt took over one of the largest arms manufacturers in Germany. He then divorced his second wife, Magda, who then married Joseph Goebbels just 2 years later in 1931. The Goebbels family then became heavily involved in the Quandt family business.
Maybe this was one of those instances.
So I'm just going to pause this just so we will be using fair use here. So just so I don't get strike with copyright infringement. So just going to pause and speak and pause.
Of marriage to cement a business relationship, sort of like royalty does, but this is the new royalty. This is the industrialist royalty. This is the globalist regime being born. That's just a guess. Here's some photos from the wedding.
Their marriage took place on a grand property owned by Günther Quandt, where Adolf Hitler served as the best man. In 1933, Günther officially joined the Nazi Party and was granted special privileges.
So you see it right there. He officially joined the Nazi Party. Just like in Thomas Watson case, he received a medal from Hitler. You can't get more Nazi than that.
To use slave labor. Günther and his sons, Herbert and Harold, staffed their factories with over 50,000 prisoners of war and concentration camp workers. One of their factories even had its own concentration camp, an execution area. The end of World War II had little effect on the Quandt family. A former prosecutor at the Nuremberg trials claims that there was plenty of evidence to prosecute the Quandts and regrets how they were allowed to evade punishment. Not only did the Quandts evade punishment at Nuremberg, Herbert went on as a director of Deutsche Bank, became an honorary citizen, and a czar of the whole German economy. He married Johanna Brun in 1960. They had 2 children, Stefan Quandt and Suzanne Klatten, Germany's richest woman, who recently told reporters how difficult it is being a billionaire.
Did you hear this stupid bitch? It's so hard being a billionaire. It's so difficult. So difficult, man.
Entrust was bought by the Quandt family in 1987, has went on to gain contracts in banking and government, including just about every level of the U.S. federal government, and has just signed a contract to provide digital passports for the UK.
So there you go. You got not only one, but you have 2 companies, one in the States, in the United States, and one in Europe. So I'm just going to show you the actual article that says vaccine passports, government signs COVID jab passport deals worth 1.6 million that could last until 2023. So you scroll down, as you usually have to. Here it says, Entrust was awarded $250,000 earlier this year in a separate government agreement for its work on the UK vaccine passport scheme. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. How comfortable are you with 2 companies having Nazi connections, creating the COVID passport game? Like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thanks for watching.